All right, we're all set up and ready to go. So welcome everybody to the very last of the Friday night live lighting critiques, the quarantine edition. We've done about 13 of these now. We've done Ask Me Anything sessions. We've done Let's Light sessions where I've shown some techniques. We've done, like I said, about 13 weeks of these. I was only planning on doing about 5 or 6 weeks. I thought COVID would last less than that. I was sorely mistaken. So it went right up to the time that my wife's about to give birth. So I'm going to be taking a break for a couple weeks from doing these live ones, and then afterward, we're definitely not going to do them on this scale, but we will do an occasional live lighting critique. Now, for our current students, the ones enrolled in the Lighting for Animation bundle, do not worry. I've got you all lined up for. I'm still going to do the daily lighting critiques Monday through Friday. I'll do videos or written critique as always. During my paternity leave, we've set it up where we're proud to announce that Francesco, the Dreamworks lighting TD, Francesco Giroldini, will be filling in for me and doing all the student lighting critiques for 2 weeks while I am away. For all of you that are not currently enrolled, fear not. We have plenty of content on our YouTube channel. Go ahead, check that out. We'll still be rolling out the lighting challenges. We just won't be doing these live sessions. It has been my utmost honor and privilege to be with you guys during this time. I know the last 13 weeks or so have been unprecedented, and so many of us have struggled with so much, and I'm just happy if we could have provided any bit of comfort for those that lost their jobs, for those that are going through tough times personally, or anything else during this time. If there's anything that we did to help, we are incredibly grateful for you guys to spend this time with us. So tonight, we've got a few things to do. Number one, we're going to announce the winner of the Sir Desmus Rotundus Lighting Challenge. That's a big one. Number two, we're going to go through some videos that were submitted. Number three, we're going to go through some still images. So first and foremost, let me share my screen here, and we will pull up your all's lighting challenge. Give me just a second. Okay, hopefully you all can see this. All right, hopefully you guys, please yell at me in the chat window if as always, if my volume goes out or if you cannot see the sync sketch window with all the submissions. Guys, overall, the work that you submitted, insane. Not like, I normally, I say that it's really hard to pick a winner, and every single time it gets harder and harder each time. And each time, because every time you guys get better and better and better at this stuff. So, oh man, I think I just ruined it. Oh, I was practicing this. No. All right. Man, that stinks. Okay. So without much further, man, I'm so sorry I did that. What a bummer way to go out. There we go. So for our winner, I'll just go and announce it. Calabraza Muele has won this month's lighting challenge. Man, I feel bad about that. Usually I do a better reveal than that. So the reason why we picked this one, and I'll go through a bunch that we found really inspirational and really fantastic. So this one is just, and Jasmine and I, like I said, it was so difficult. We went back and forth over and over and over again. This one is just like pristine character lighting to a T. This is what you use to demonstrate good character lighting to a student. There is focus on this part of the face here. There is a subtle bit of shaping on the other side. There is specularity where there needs to be specularity. The diffuse values are just right. There's a touch of shaping in the background without being too overpowering. There is rim lights on left and right side of the hat, defining shaping without drawing too much attention to it. There's a subtle amount of shaping on the arm here. It's just got everything that you're looking for in character lighting. The eye is reading without being too poppy. You can clearly distinguish the iris, glare, and pupil with an eye ding right on it. Like even the ear gets a proper amount of shaping We've got just enough God rays coming in there to feel a window light coming down. We've got subtle bits of shaping in here. Just a lovely combination of warm and cool tones that is so fitting and so well done that we just absolutely, we just like, we couldn't, again, just rock solid character lighting. Now, there are so many other good ones. And like we said, this isn't about the prize or the winning this contest. This is all about you guys making work for your demo reel. And so many people made beautiful demo reel worthy works. Like, look at, I'm just going to click through all, like, look at the focus on the attention. Look at the depth of space and the ability to like focus the eye right in on the character. Clever did an amazing job of balancing a couple different images here and really getting a really firm hold of Unreal in a way that I've never seen a student really be able to do. So much shaping, so much mood, so much like here, the warmth of the cool, the little bit of shaping in the background, just beautiful, beautiful stuff. Dana, I'm gonna go with Dana and Joy, were able to do these beautiful stained glass window sets, adding color, and like, look at this. God rays coming down to direct the viewer's eye. Beautiful shaping, beautiful color spill going back into this space. A little bit of vignetting here in the foreground in this one. Great, like just stunning, stunning, stunning stuff. Same thing here, colorful spill. Look at this shaping coming across. It's gorgeous. A little bit of specular highlights on these things. Just really, just I can't, like, fantastic stuff. Lovely balance of warmth and cool. AJ was a little bit late, just submitted today, but like, look at this specularity. Look at this shaping across them. So much mood, so much visual interest. Dari, you've got, again, like, this is a different look with the reds popping and more desaturated, less of the browns. Look at the background, just stunning background. Like, I can't say enough good things. Doris went crazy. Look at her. Wait, is this the, yeah, look, it's loading because she animated him. She actually rigged him up, got him blowing around. Look at him. Like, I thought he was magnificent before. Look at him blowing in the wind. Love it. Love the balance between the red and the cool. Again, it was, I can't stress this enough. Look at Juan's. Beautiful shaping. Franz, look at the smoke coming in. The only thing that I would do, darken up the character just a little bit to really get him to pop off it, and a little more shaping in the hat. So much mood. Kelds, look, this one was the biggest, I would say probably one of the biggest progress points in this project. I mean, you had an image at the beginning. It was, you were struggling to find your focus, and look at what you made, man. You made this beautiful image. Look at the shaping on the hat coming across. Look at the eye, direct, like, so much good stuff going on here. It was so cool to watch your progress. Leon, like, guys, this, I hate having to pick a winner for these because it stinks, right? Like, there's so many good ones. Like the story that you're telling with all these eyes in the background popping up, and just the difficulty of getting a character of that scale to read. Lucas, same deal. A moody, this feels like a film noir thing. Just love the setup. Mara, beautiful use of volumetric light, separating warmth over cool. Prasanth told a story, got this little mouse to pop. That was a struggle, I know it, man. Sadia was getting this red to pop over the cool, getting those value differences was so difficult. Shayam, this was this one I think you wanted more critique on, so I will give you more critique in just a minute. But again, just beautiful stuff. Till, finding the balance of the warmth and cool, getting us to read the character, getting his scale right, getting the scale of the scene right. Will, this looks so cool, man. Like, look at the painter leaf touch you did in the vertical one. The amount of shaping that you gave, like the wing, I think you probably had the best, like, shaping and the diffuse on the wing. Just beautiful, beautiful work. Yang matched the reference perfectly. Just, like, guys, so much cool stuff, so much amazing work going on. I don't want to, like, it's hard to pronounce a winner when there's so much good work, and but we had to do it. And so big congratulations to Calabaza. You guys, it's either Eduardo or Elena. This is actually the funny part, is that there's 2 people who share this one account. And so I'm not quite sure if it's Eduardo or Elena that actually created this image. So if you guys, if you're on, please tell me so I can congratulate you by name. But again, you just beautiful character lighting to the T. And I'm so excited to see what you guys do this month with the Harlem set. But really, really, really great job overall. Stop sharing as I switch things out here real quick. Oh, actually, I do want to close that. Yeah, Amy, Donica, Cloud, Dana, all y'all on Facebook. It's so excited about the submissions. Okay, let me go back into Sync Sketch real quick. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the submissions. I'm gonna do the videos first, and then I'll check to see who's online, and then we'll go through the people that are here today. So, step back, just 1 second. But yeah, and one thing I should announce about the Harlem one. This was drawn to my attention this week, and this happens sometimes. So I was pulling up reference images when I was working with our asset creator, Sarah Tar, and for Harlem. So just so you guys know, I walked through Harlem, well, outside of COVID, on my way to work. I'm inspired by it every day. I think it's incredible. And so what we did was we found a bunch of 1940s reference from Harlem. It turns out that one of the images that we pulled was from, I think it was like called Harlem Park or Harlem Garden in Baltimore. So we do have a little bit of Baltimore mixed in there. I think it's like the snowballs being sold was more of a Baltimore thing. I don't know if I actually don't know if they existed in Harlem, but it was like, we were just pulling up reference images and going through and like, okay, let's add this, let's do this, let's do that. And so just a historical note, if anyone's as much of a historical geek as I am, yeah, that's what happened there. So, okay. So we've got Alan and Bizwajit, I think is how you pronounce that. Please forgive me if that's incorrect. And Amanda. So Amanda has this project. We're going to go through this one first, and then I'll go through the demo reels of you all there. Okay. So this is a, Amanda is at my alma mater, SCAD. This is a classic SCAD lighting project. And it's one where, and I love it because it's so simple, but it's so difficult. So basically the challenge is, and I would highly recommend anyone do this if you're looking for a lighting challenge, is you take a photograph with a real object, leaving space for you to integrate a CG object. And you try and match to live. So you're trying to match your CG object specifically to live. And the game is to just have that frame up and for the audience to not know which is which. Total credit of this goes to Bridget Gaynor. She's the one that, like, if you ever see these from a SCAD student, I'm guessing it's still all her because she was the one that started it. So all credit goes to her on these. So let's take a look. So if we were looking at this, and we would have to guess which one of these was real and which one was fake. And the one thing, and this is the trickiest part about this. Oh my gosh, I'm not sharing my screen at all, am I? I am so sorry about that. All right, so here it is. So actually, this is a really good test. Let me ask you guys, so fill it out in the chat window in the comment section. Which one of these two, left or right, do you all think is the real one versus the CG one? Oh. See in the chat window here. Left is real, says Mr. Lopez. See what we got over here in Facebook. That's, yeah. All right, anybody got any guesses? Although Facebook, I believe, is a little bit lagged. So you may not be getting it right on. All right. Boop, 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 boop. So left is a guess. Left is real. You are correct. The left is the real one. Right is the CG element. Now, how do we know that the right one was CG? There's a few things about it that are can be improved upon. The biggest one to me is there's a little bit too much perfection in it. Like, the fact that, well, it's also like this one's a little bit out of focus. This one's a little bit sharp. There's a little bit more of like a film grain on this one than we're not seeing here. In terms of the shadowing looks pretty good. Let me see. Yeah, okay. So this was one of the giveaways. And this is a real challenge when you're lighting for real. You have this cast shadow that's being cast onto the set. What happens is when you cross a cast shadow from your CG over the set, you have to be careful because what happens is what you're seeing right in here. And that's a doubling of the shadows. So you're darkening the plate, which actually makes the shadow darker. That's not what happens in nature. What happens in nature is the shadows blend and they come together and form one value because they're just blocking the same light, right? It's not like getting additionally darker. So that is, I mean, that wasn't in the silt, but that's something that I noticed when I was watching through it, that you really want to paint, like you want to either paint that out or roto around it or do something to isolate the CG shadow so it's not like contaminating the background plate. In terms of this first frame, yeah, it's like, again, it's just like the imperfections on this one are really the telltale sign. Also, the color spill that's happening in these white values is close, but there's a little bit more saturation in here than there is in the CG one. And if you guys have things that gave it away for you, definitely chime in and let me know because this is a really good test of this. But overall, because I would say this about projects like this, there's kind of like a two-step approach, right? There's like the first one that's like my gut, my initial instinct to it, like, and my initial instinct was like, this looks real. This looks great, Amanda. But that it's that second one when I kind of go through and I start to analyze it, that it's not quite as perfect as we would want. Actually, the problem is with this one, it's a little too perfect. Yeah, and then the other thing is like I was looking at there's a darker there's more darkness around this this kind of green to white separation there, so I'd watch out for that. And then there's just a little tiny bit more bleed in the shadows. Like I would especially put it up here around the front. And then some of these, yeah, I'm looking for opportunities. It's really like down here too. There's something bright down there that's breaking the reality of it a little bit. But overall, this is great. Like this I would clean up those little things and then throw this on my demo reel immediately. I think this is great. So really great job there. Okay, now we're gonna move on. We got a couple others. So let's do Alan's first. So Alan, we've got a demo reel here. And I'm just, like, I usually just do this where I just kind of talk it through while it's happening. So as if I'm in a real demo reel review. So first shot comes up, and the first thing that stands out to me is how much this is kind of blowing out here, specifically on the skin. So there's not quite the right balance between the light in the skin and the light in his fur because the fur isn't up bright enough yet. So and it's also like if we're ever going to get this bright, we're going to want to see it on the eye because we want to really read into that area. So I'm getting pulled down to his cheek, and that's not great. Also, this rim light feels a little bit strong, but then again, like I'm not seeing this fully in context, and the chest feels a little bit flat. So that's my initial gut instinct. Same deal with the brightness here. That would be the biggest one for me standing out. This one is, I think this is all part of the same set. So what I would look for is to make sure that this character is matching from this shot to the next shot, and it's not. So there's more light hitting him here because I think it looks like he's in the same spot. He might not be. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that he's not in the same spot because if you look at the key side of his face, he's much more dimly lit there. And if we cut to this one, much more key light. Strong rim, that's good. I like the darkness. I like the light over dark. The whites of his eyes are going very, very bright. So I would take that down a little bit. If you can. I don't know if you still have access to this stuff. That shot is looking pretty nice. There seems to be like, this might just be, it looks like there's a black line around this edge of the horn. Not quite sure if that's actually happening. I'll get more bleed up here, a little more blown out because this feels a little bit clamped in values. Like this feels nice and bright and kind of washing over. This could use a little more. And his eyes, and again, I don't know if this is the character design, feel a little bit green yellow. I would desaturate those down a little bit too. And ideally the eye dings would fall right about, oh, not there, but like right on the breaking point between the iris and pupil. Okay, this shadow is too sharp. Like I saw this and I was like, it's like, it's very steppy. There's like no motion blur on it, and it's very like, and I would like to see more elegance, more smoothness in this. Yeah, that would be the biggest one there. And then like, there's not a lot of shaping on the characters. They feel very flat. The shadows are like, again, just super sharp. And like that transition at the end is very fast. Like this, it's very fast. This breakdown is also very fast. This one's, this is a difficult lighting challenge because again, you've got cool tone lights on warm tone characters. That camera move is very jerky. I don't know if you have control over that, but it's like it starts from nothing and then bang, like, and then stops on a dime too. So this one, we've got the reference in here, which is a nice touch. It's not quite the same as the reference. The exterior of the window is much more orange in the render than in the reference. We're not seeing these like little pockets of light, which are a big part. The value of the skin tone on the characters isn't quite the same. There's a lot of, again, the pinks and the reds on the characters. We're not really seeing that here. So other than the location, there's not a lot that's pairing up between these two. And I would like to see, from an animation standpoint, a little more lighting difference as the character moves from those positions. Like he's theoretically, he's getting closer to the light coming into the front. So like there should be a ton of light coming in this way directly in front of them. So I would expect to see more light on their faces coming in and not quite total fill their value. For this one, again, there's more green. I love the idea of this you know, reference and lighting. The color scheme is a little more reds, pure blues in here. This one's going a little bit more towards green. If you look at his shirt darks, these are much more clamped in here, and like down here it looks like very, very clamped, where his values are much more saturated, much more flowing. The whites aren't the same. Like this just goes kind of blown out and then quickly goes to this grayish value. This one is more blown, but it has some blueness to it, and then it fades off into this this value as well. And there's a little bit more shaping across his face. And in this one, as you play it out, there's just like a lot of warmth underneath here that we're not really seeing. Also watch this edit because these are kind of overlapped here. Yeah, and then there's just like not a lot of contact shadow between the hands and the paper. And then like it's just getting very bright here, and I'd expect there to be just like a little bit softer of a transition. This lighting is a lot better. I think that this one's working much more successfully. The one thing about this one that's not carrying over between the reference is the dark background allowing the character to pop forward. So maybe choose a different background that doesn't have these hot spots of light that are more in shadow to kind of get that to match up. Also, these slow, take a beat when you're, because when you're watching in speed, all this stuff is happening very quickly. Like it's kind of like that's a cut there. Also, this cut seems to like, I'll go back, see if I can find it. It seems to go to black. Yeah, there's a black frame before you go to the next one. Make sure these cuts are tighter than that because it just feels kind of poppy. So like this stuff, it's a very fast, like zoom, like slow down those transitions a little bit. This one, if you can, I would provide a breakdown or something because it's hard to know what you did on these. This one is looking good. This is like matches the reference pretty perfectly, and that's like in terms of the layout and the design of it. As you can see, there's a little bit more darkness in the bottom sides of these, specifically in these pairs. Like down there would be a lot darker. The grapes go There's just more variation. Even the shadows are a little bit brighter. And the leaves have a little bit more yellow and a little more specularity to them. Don't necessarily worry about doing the ambient occlusion pass. I would just do the straight up lighting and then that's it. This one, again, similar setup, similar lighting. This is just feeling a lot more green than this. This is much warmer orange. This one, it's just like a different color palette. Again, don't worry about that ambient occlusion. This is nice. This is a nice way to close out. I like this one a lot. I mean, you did the modeling, the animation, lighting, compositing, video editing. This is a, that's pretty impressive. But again, the one big thing that I would say over all of this is just kind of slow down on some of this stuff because it's very like everything's like quick. And I would just slow down to have a little bit more like make it a little more elegant than that. So good stuff, Alan. Biz widgets. All right, let's go through this. All right, so this one coming out of the gate, this character doesn't feel fully integrated into the scene. Like he feels much more sharp than the rest of it. Like this feels more out of focus. He also doesn't feel like he's fully getting the warm light on that side. These don't really feel like headlights to me. I would find more reference on that because they just feel like point lights stuffed in there. And headlights on car designs, especially like a nice Audi like this, has like cool LED lights in there. There's more going on than just light being jammed in. So I would really look at that reference there. Same thing even with the tail light. The shader looks pretty good coming across the top. This side is getting very dark. Definitely put something over there off camera to reflect in there. Yeah, so even without, ooh. So the breakdown in this, like it's building, and then that happens. So I don't know what happened there. So like you want to create a buildup, right? And if there's any major changes like that, it's going to be to your last version. So I would even, like, I'm not even really sure what this is demonstrating. I would take this out entirely and just go straight to that. This one looks really cool. I like this guy. Let's see something actually. Yeah, it's working. There's these spots here, like here, and down here that I'm not quite sure what they are. I don't know if they're on the wall or if they're shadows. I would consider softening those or just taking them out if they're in the shader. But overall, this is looking great. The one thing about the light flare is it's a little bit there's too many points on it. I would almost make it like an anamorphic flare, it's like a straight across kind of a thing. But just my personal preference there. And then in terms of the light, this breakdown's nice. I would consider darkening a little bit more in here just to get the focus in here. But I think overall this one's looking really nice. Although, I guess that makes sense. All right, I was just looking at these shadows for a second, and I was like, I thought for a second that this was casting two shadows, but that's totally fine. This one looks nice. Ooh, this is too contrasty, this flower against the window. Everything else looks great. I would even just take that out. And then this thing feels stretched. It feels like a stretched texture there. Double check this hat as being the right proportion. It feels very small. Yeah. Also, yeah, I mean, actually, it's just like the big table and the big chair and the little table. Yeah, proportions are strange in this. Like, because I guess it's like a kiddie table with an adult chair next to it. Yeah, but like this is nice in here. I like that I'm shaping in the shadow areas. And then just a little bit softness on the shadows. Shadows are a little bit tough. This one feels miniature to me right out of the gate. It also feels very soft overall. Like, I don't know why it's so, like, it just doesn't feel like anything's really in focus. It feels like everything's out of focus. I'm trying to figure out why this feels like a miniature. I think it's because, like, there's not a lot of small detail. You know, like the street feels very much like one tone. These windows all feel like one tone. There's nothing on back here. There's no, like, lights on in the windows. It's also the camera angle being this high. It feels like we're looking at a miniature set as opposed to being like human level, like down in the street. It's hard to make things feel big at this kind of vantage point. Yeah. So something about this light that came in. Oof, so like, where are we at? Oh yeah, it's when this red light comes in. Like this actually looks pretty interesting. And then this whole like red thing comes in. I think that's way too strong. I think that's kind of overpowering things, and then you're spending the rest of the composite trying to build up from that. These lens flares are fun, little stretched out in here, and then same thing, just more small detail, like finding variation in these buildings. And this texture on this building is way too big, makes that feel small. Just more variation in there. Just keep working that in. You can do noise passes. You can do all kinds of stuff to add like dirt and grime to things. And again, same thing. It's fine. I would just do a hard cut between the two. So this guy, this is your weakest one. I would take this out. The water doesn't really look like water. There's no transparency there. It just feels like more like a blanket, and then you've got like these photoreal characters in there that aren't really matching up as well with the lighting. Yeah, I think that this one's your weakest piece, and I think you should probably take this one out. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. Okay, cool. All right, great. So let me stop sharing this, and then I will remember to sharing again in just a second. So again, if you all have questions about any of that, let me know. Let me close this out so we can see who is here. Hi. All right, so we got Amy, Donica, I see, Yang, I see. Let's go. If you have, but Clau is here, Dana's here. I think I said Dana already. On Zoom, we've got a handful of others. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, we got Mr. Lopez, we got Keld here. Okay, let's take a look. Let's go through the everyone's here. So Amy, you are here. Great update to, I love this project. Again, she's doing the first Power of Light project using some simple geo to match to a reference image. Love it. Love your updates. The color is looking much better. It might be, I would pull a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of red out of, let's see. I did it again. I just said I wasn't going to share. I was going to share my screen, and then I didn't. Oh. Wait. Yeah, am I doing it? Okay. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that again. Again, this is my 13th time or 14th time doing these, and it's like my first day. Okay, again, Amy, great job matching reference. Love it. Love the characters. Love everything you're doing here. So what I was saying was that these are a little bit too on the red side. I would just pull them back just slightly, a little bit more. Oh, not that much green. Tiny, tiny bit more green. And I know it's not the most ideal for them, but it is matching up more, a little bit better to their hero color. Although, I mean, like, I do like yours better. It's just not quite matching up. Shoes look a lot better. The only thing that I would do is if you can blur out the background just a little bit. I'm not sure if that's all in one pass or two passes, but if you can just blur that and then just reduce the size of this. So like this kick light comes out to about here, and it doesn't quite go out that far. So I'd cut that distance down and then increase the samples. And this might just be low res overall, but the samples on this are really standing out to me. So just watch, and then also in the shadows down here. But the lighting, everything else is looking really great. I think you're in a really good spot. Okay. Oh, no problem, Amanda. Yes, you can watch a recording later. No problem at all. I'm very happy to have you here. I hope if you're still in Savannah, stay safe down there. Tell everyone in SCAD I say hello. All right. Hello, Isaac. Okay. Oh, you're very welcome on the critique there. Let's see who Isaac, you are here. So, and yours just popped up. So I will get yours next. Okay. Cool. Just want to make sure that we're not missing. Oh, you had reference. Yeah, there's your reference. Man, everything I'm mixed up here. Love your reference. I love your color breakdown. I don't know if you did these, but this was one of the things that I recommend for people first starting in the industry is to do these kind of color breakdowns of images. I did this like my first couple months of working in the industry, and it really helped me truly understand what truly like helps me break down an image so I can understand the color composition and the color balance of a scene. Absolutely love it. So, oh, hey, Amy, yes. Sorry, answering your question from Facebook about the samples of the previous one. Yes, increase the samples on the light of actually it's and then the shadow samples of the other one. You can do the light samples. If you're finding it that overall you need more samples, you can increase the AA in the Arnold render settings. Fun tech talk. Okay, so let's look at this. Love the color scheme, lots of warms and greens. And now we're gonna go back into yours here. So you're doing something similar. It's not quite as many reds, it's more oranges. But what you're doing is you're balancing that well and getting the character to pop because of that warm over green thing. Now, the one thing about Amelie is the softness of the light of the project. Just kind of like everything feels very matte to it, right? And this is a little bit different than what I would normally do, but I think because of that, you can soften the lighting on this a little bit more. I'm wondering if you're going for the Amelie vibe, I think the blinds, like the cutting of the blinds, doesn't quite match that film. I would consider pulling that off or just making less of them. So it's not quite slashing as much across his face. I love the bit of warmth and like value that you're getting in here and the fall off as we're going across there. Love that. I also think that, do you see this like little bit of kick light on her screen right side? It's just to avoid this right side of her face from going too much into the darkness. And you can kind of see it on the back of him here. I think for yours, you could use a little bit of more. Okay, there's two things you can do with this. Number one, the key light's hitting him a little bit frontally. I would swing that over to the left a little bit more to get more shaping coming across him, and then hit him with just like the way that this is getting a nice bounce light. Imagine that's bouncing off and hitting the back of him here. So just a little bit more. So I think that would be the two biggest things, because your structure is there, right? Like the core elements of what we're looking at is there. It's just a matter of getting more shaping from that key light, a little bit more kick from the bounce, and reducing the amount of slashing on him. Because it's a good idea, but it's a little bit more film noir and more contrasty than the soft feel that you would want, that you're getting out of Amelie. And like then you're getting out of the rest of your image. Because I think the strength of your image and your reference is the softness. So let's really lean into that. Yes, kick light. I found the Amelie reference earlier. Yeah. Oh, it's on Google Images. Yeah, but consider doing that yourself too. It's just a great way to study light and get a better understanding of it. Let's slide this over. Oof. Sorry, my Zoom panel here is right in the way of me trying to select things. Okay, slide that over here. Cool. Let's see who else we got. Let's see who else. More coarse shadow in the middle of the head. Yeah. So it's like the key light's over to one side, and then just like a little bit more. So it goes bright to like a little bit of core darkness, and then a little bit of kick to round it out. Would do a good job there. Okay, let's see. I think everybody else. Yell at me in either the chat or the comment if you are live and you're not, and I have not done yours yet. So I'll kind of go back and forth a little, ping pong a little bit. So Shayam, I think that you can do more. I love the framing of this and the setup. I think you can push the background brighter and then push more bounce light up in underneath him here and get more shaping that way. Because I think that like overall we can just like really kind of push up. Look at Kleber's use of his night stuff. And I think that that would be a really good kind of reference point for you and use that. And then we could pull down the saturation here. But I think that this would be a better type of a level that you're going for than what we're seeing there. So that would be the big one. Really push the rim lights all around him because this key light's strong and coming in from behind. And then again, this is a challenge with him is to make sure to get the specularity right in his wings and his chest and up into his face. All right. So Daniel, we got a couple submissions from Daniel. Got your reference here. We've got this one as well. Okay, we'll start with this one. Much better. I like the value that we're getting here in the foreground. This character back here adds so much. Very cool stuff. I want to see more warm light on this plant. That's feeling a little bit cool. Love the touches of light kind of popping in here. I think this is working out really well. I like this a lot. I almost wonder if we shouldn't flank off this light a little bit. So it's more like the light's coming in from down here and then allowing this area up here to just kind of go into darkness. I think that would help. And then watch out for this bright hit on the door. And then down here too. But the structure of this is great. I think it's really looking beautiful. Like really, really great stuff. For the attic scene, I think we can push more bounce light in overall, to be honest. Like, let's look at the reference here. So there's about 1/10 of the light bouncing into this room, key light coming in. Maybe not 10th, maybe like 25%. But even with this little bit of key light bouncing here, look how much bounce light we're getting in the surrounding area. And I think you can really push that. Like even the color of the wall, it's a little bit lighter, but it's somewhat similar. So you can really get just some more spill from the window onto this, more bounce light. Like look how bright that is. That would scream light up this way and really kind of bounce that in. So I would work as my next iteration on your bounce values and create some more shaping. I know you're kind of going for like darker and moodier, but if you're getting this much key light in there, you really want to complement it with more secondary light. All right, Debarshi, yes. So very cool. Love the look of the leaves. Great use of specularity to get some shaping up in here. Really beautiful stuff. Let's see, up like in here. Like this is looking really great. Really, really good stuff. Love the translucency. That feels real to me. It feels really nice. The bark on the tree, it all just feels it's at like a 45-degree angle throughout it, or slightly higher than that. I guess I'd be like a 70-degree angle, but like it's too consistent. Like I would want it to, and like this one's too like perfectly vertical. I would want to see more like broken up bark on that. The biggest one for me, and this is the number one thing that I would work on with you, is, and I did this. So I added a black image and then I put it in over the color, or using a color merge operation. And the way okay. And the way that that I would do this. So the reason why I do this is I'm looking at the luminosity. And what I'm seeing that I would really like to do is I'd really like the characters to pop out on a luminance scale, because they're just like blending in too much with the surroundings. Like you've got the yellow over green, and that's helpful, but just like value wise, once you take away the color, you can kind of see they're kind of the same as everything else. So what I would want to do is darken let's take this off. Let's take let's work on getting getting more darkness in this leaf and then down in here to create a little bit more vignetting, and then allow these characters to go brighter and allow them to pop off a little bit. So again, all right, let's mock this up. So if we allowed them, let's let's go about in here. So now their value is increasing a little bit. And now because of that, take that away. You can see, that their values are now starting to pop out a little bit more. And now when we add this in, like they're a little bit brighter, and you can artificially darken some of the areas around it too. So darken like right here, just imagine there's a shadow coming in right behind them and that they're getting hit with the light. And I think that would be a big, big help for you there. All right. So Juan, you mentioned, did you have a submission? If you did, other than the Sir Desmond Rotundus, if you did, let me know. I may have missed it. So just give me a heads up on that. Gabriella, good stuff. So we've got these two images. Really fun. I think overall, she gave me like, I saw it and I was like, ooh, this is very nice. Couple things to improve upon. Number one is this sharp shadow. You want to really avoid these in this type of thing, especially because she's so soft overall. I would really work to get those values to be a little bit softer. In terms of shaping, pretty good in through here. I think you might want to go a little bit stronger in the shaping in the hat. And the biggest thing for me that I would work on for you is getting this part of the iris to be a little bit brighter and then this part to be a little bit darker to create more shaping in there to really kind of sell that. And then watch out for this brightness on this side of it. Like if this is like a rim light, I would just tone that down quite a bit. And then this specular highlight coming across her nose would just tone that down. I mean, again, because these are just stills, you could probably just paint those out. Yeah, definitely just like paint that out. And then, yeah, just watch out for, this is getting a little bit too bright again. And then really push the contrast in the irises and then maybe make the dings just slightly bigger. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe not that big. Like I would make them more, but that's not that, a little bit less on this side than this side, but just make them slightly bigger. I think that would help. But again, watch the shadow there. Yeah, but overall, she's looking really great. All right, Jeremy. All right, so we've got this as a reference and we're trying to match it. Cool stuff. Eggs are actually really tricky to light. So, because they've got some sneaky subsurface in there that I'm not always expecting, and they can be harder to. What did I have to light an egg? I can't remember, but I remember being like, oh, this is way harder than I was anticipating, because you can see like lots of bounce light in there, the softness of the shaping. They've got some subsurface scattering in there because like look at the shadow, it's super soft. And so for yours, you've got the bounce light coming in here, but just maybe add a little subsurface to this to get this shape a little bit softer. The edge of this, I like that you were reading the hardness of it, but you can soften that by, like 10 pixels or so. Just soften that up. And the biggest one is just the brightness value. So like for this, we can push the brightness brighter. Specifically, I mean, the character can go a little bit less than that and the ground can go a little bit more. Because if we look at how bright this is down here, you would just want to go a little bit brighter on that. But the shaping is there, your idea is there, the basis is there. It's just a matter of making those small tweaks to really make it, and I think that'll make all the difference there for you. Closing that too. All right, bow neck. So let's see. Sorry, just remembering this one. First off, there's a lot of light underneath the desk that I'm not quite sure where that's coming from, because if it's coming from this light, it would be shadowed by the desk itself. So that was really throwing me off. Also outside the window, a couple things. Like outside the window is, it's kind of a nighttime set, but like it's not really playing any influence on the scene at all. Like it feels a little bit bright, but I'm not seeing like a rim on her. I'm not seeing that light spilling at all. So just watch out for that. Also, the windowsill here is very warm and very bright, and then the wall right next to it is like black. So it's like a black painted wall room with this very bright window, and it just doesn't feel like they're getting the same light. And then in terms of the character, I love that you're using our free assets to help raise money for Black Girls Code. A couple things about her. You want to, she's looking a little bit on the green side. You want to warm up her skin tones a little bit. And then the bigger thing is you want to really not, so this is the challenge of using a dark skinned character. You don't want to continue pushing diffuse brightness into their skin because then they lose their hero color. What we want to do is keep them, keep this character on a darker skin tone, which you have right now, but then find the shaping in specular highlights. That's how we're really going to get the realism of a dark skinned character and then the visual appeal of a dark skinned character. You'll find it in the specular highlights. I recommend looking up the Insecurity show. Has really great lighting. Black Panther, I would say Insecurity, and then Moonlight is another really great example of strong lighting from there. But yes, overall that, and then really kind of, because again, this light spilling on the ground is really taking away from the focus, which I feel like it should be just like this light right in here, and then this bounce light coming on her as the secondary element. So really should just be looking at those three things. So I would just work on those notes and then bring it back and hopefully we can get some review from your peers. Okay, mana. Much better overall. I think you've got this one nailed. Sorry to make you wait so long just to tell you you done good. Only thing, and you don't have to bring this back for notes. Just make the idings a little bit stronger right in the core. So like, it's fine. Just like bing and bing. Maybe something like that. Not quite that big, but just a little bit brighter. Just yeah, I think that's good. All right. Okay, so Mohammad, cool stuff here. Let's take a look at this one. So between these two shots, there's a little bit less on the buildings. There's a little bit less fade, a little bit less fog on them. We've got these streaks back up here. That's pretty cool. This one's actually looking pretty well. I would just like to pull back. This one's tricky. So the dark values in the buildings are too dark. But man, like, it's really what it is like the amount of blowout and spill on this is really going to make it hard to read the buildings. I would like to see them a little bit more silhouetted. And then a little bit more, get this back. A little bit more, if you're going to have this much specular highlight, we really need to see it refracting into the scene. I think it's a little bit too strong, but I want to see like some more bounce light from that into the surroundings. These pockets of light are good. It's also like with this much, it's okay. This is what I'm seeing. And I got it. With this much light, like screaming in from the background, like we're just not seeing it on the environment, right? Because this almost feels like the sun is setting, and I'm feeling none of that on these trees and these hills. I'm feeling none of it in the rim here. So the lighting on the scene feels like nighttime, but the sky feels like late afternoon sunset, and also very desaturated because I'm not getting the color from it. So I would either make it more of a nighttime sky or readjust the lighting to get more influence from that. And then we go from there. All right. I think that's everyone. Wow, this feels unreal, guys. bring me back. Let's see if we have any comments. Juan, thank you, Michael, for your dedication to helping us all, and a big congratulations on your new addition to the family. It's a true blessing. Thank you so much. Like I said, working with you guys is the joy of my day, other than my family, who I love very much. You guys are like, doing this brings me so much joy and so much happiness, and any bit that we were able to help you guys brings me so much pride. We hope we were able to help you through the last 13 weeks. I know we're not out of the woods yet, but we'll get there. And yeah, after all this, the next couple of weeks with my family and we get things in place, I should have a better feel of where we're going from here. But thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Amy. Yeah, my wife's doing the brunt of it. I'm just here for support as much as I can. But to everyone out there, well, I forgot to say this. This is the other thing I was going to say to everyone at the beginning. To all of our Canadian friends, a happy belated Happy Canada Day. To everyone in the U.S., happy 4th of July. Amy, you're in the UK, but you celebrate this weekend anyway because I just met you, but you're rad. And thank you guys so much for your kind words. We're here for you if you need anything. Just because we're not doing live events does not mean that we're not available to help with anything that you guys need. We are so grateful to all of you, and we're so excited about the community that we built and what we got going in the future. So thank you all very much. Oh, my pleasure, Kel. You've just started too, and you're really great too. It's been fun. It's been fun growing with you. Like I said, the progress that you just made on this last lighting challenge was incredible, and it's exactly what we want to see, right? It's so cool. All right. So for now, talk to you all soon, and have a great weekend, everybody, and happy lighting to each and every one of you.